Hello guys! So welcome back sa another accounting tutorial. No, this time, cash and cash equivalents naman. No? Sana all my cash. Di ba? So, unahin natin, ano ba sir? Sir, ano ba ang cash? No? Sa madaling sabi, cash, pera. Di ba? Pera ang cash. Pero sa context ng financial accounting, no? Ang cash po, it refers to the most liquid asset because they are readily available for use in transactions or to settle obligations. Liquid sila because they are readily available. Nandyan na agad. Kung may babayaran ka, kung may isi-settle kang obligation, may pambayad ka kasi may pera ka. No? So, to be reported as cash, it must be unrestricted in use. Ano pong ibig sabihin ng unrestricted? Dapat, no, magagamit mo siya freely. You can use it freely. And hindi dapat siya restricted. Okay? So, yun na yung gustong sabihin. Sa madaling, sa, ina, para mas makarelate kayo, yun na lang yung definition na kinuha ko. Alright? So, cash items included in cash. Pero syempre, madami pa kasing component ng cash eh. Una, may cash on hand. Yung cash na nasa kamay mo. 'Di ba? Cash on hand. Pero, sa financial accounting, may mga examples yan. Undeposited cash collections o yung mga collections na hindi mo pa nade-deposito sa bangko, mga bills and coins, 'di ba? Traveler's check, mga cheque, cashiers or manager's check, postal money orders, tapos bank drafts. Pero syempre, ang pinaka-common talaga na cash on hand ay yung bills and coins. Pero remember, meron din money orders, pwede rin mga bank drafts. Okay? Kung may cash on hand, 'di ba? May cash in bank. No, ano yung mga yon, yung mga savings deposit. Pag nag-open ka ng bank account, may current account ka, may checking account ka, may demand deposit ka, no? So kung nag-open ka ng bank account, yan yung mga kinds ng bank statement mo or bank account mo rather. And dapat, sabi ko nga, dapat unrestricted sila. Dapat yung mga yan, pwede mong ma-withdraw. Pwede, syempre, withdrawable sila. No? Magagamit mo talaga kung kinakailangan. Oh, cash equivalent. Tapos ka na sa cash. Sir, ano naman yung cash equivalent? No? Ang sabi ng PAS 7, paragraph 6, it defines cash equivalents as short-term and highly liquid investments that are readily convertible into cash and so near their maturity that they present insignificant risk of changes in value because of change in interest rates. Ito yung iniisip ko sa cash equivalent, no? Madali na lang siyang maging cash. They are readily convertible into cash. No? Highly liquid sila, katulad talaga ng cash. Oh, the standard further states that only highly liquid investments that are acquired 3 months before maturity can qualify as cash equivalents. No? Ito po yung puso ng cash equivalent. Dapat in-acquire sila or pinurchase 3 months bago sila mag-mature para makonsider sila as cash equivalents. Kaya nga highly liquid eh. 'Di ba? Malapit nang mag-mature. 3 months or less or 90 days yan. Okay? So, ano bang mga examples ng cash equivalents? First, yung 3-month BSP Treasury Bill. O, may Treasury Bill po tayo, pero dapat 3 months. 3 months na lang magmamature na. O, 3 year, pwede rin naman pong 3 taon. So long as pinurchase mo yan 3 months before date of maturity. 'Di ba? Kahit 3 taon yan, 10 taon. So long as pinurchase mo yan, 3 buwan na lang magmamature na. In-acquire mo yan 3 months. 3 months or 90 days before date of maturity. Ano pa? 3-month time deposit. Mahilig ang cash equivalents no sa 3-month rule. Grabe naman yun, sir. 3-month rule ang cash equivalents, no? Tandaan mo yun. And lastly, yung 3-month money market instrument or commercial paper. O, mga money market, mga commercial paper. O, may mga note dito. Yung share investments po, hindi sila pwedeng mag-qualify as cash equivalents because they do not have a maturity date. Eh, yung mga yan, itong mga unang nabanggit natin, may maturity date talaga sila. Eh, ang share investments, hindi po magka-qualify as cash equivalents. Okay? However, pwede pong pwede pong maging cash equivalent ang preference shares. No? So long as may specified redemption date siya, yung redeemable preference shares na sinasabi. And dapat in-acquire mo yan 3 months ulit before redemption date. No? Pwede kang maging cash equivalents. Okay? No? And lastly, ang importante lang talaga dito sa cash equivalents is the date of purchase or acquisition. No? Which should be 3 months or less before maturity. Yun yung mahalaga. 3 buwan, 90 days, pinurchase mo yan bago pa man mag-mature. Okay, so may example tayo dito. First problem. An entity provided the following data on December 31, 2024. Oh, may cash on hand, may traveler's check, may money order, may bank draft, may cash in bank. May share investments, may treasury bills, may money market, may treasury bill na naman, and may time deposit. Ang tanong, ano daw po yung i-report as cash and cash equivalent sa December 31, 2024? Himayin natin. No? Pero tandaan mo na ang tinatanong cash, tapos cash equivalents. So, pinagsama, no? Cash and cash equivalents. Simulan natin sa cash. Siyempre, cash on hand. 'Di ba? Cash on hand. Traveler's check, cash din po 'yan. 'Di ba? Yung money order, bank draft, 'di ba? Nasa example po natin ito ng mga cash on hand, no? Pero mas specific nga lang sila. Cash in bank din po, no? Cash silang 5. No? So hanggang diyan kay cash in bank, no? Cash sila. Oh, hindi pa tayo tapos kasi cash and cash equivalent yung hinahanap natin, no? So cash equivalent, no? Yung share investments that are actively traded in the stock market. So umpisa pa lang, 'di ba? Matitis ka na eh kasi actively traded 'yan, sir. 'Di ba? Parang matitis ka talaga na saguting cash equivalent 'yan kasi 'di ba from the term itself, highly liquid investment 'yan kaya dapat actively traded. Eh, hindi po. 'Di ba? Nakasabi nga lang po natin kanina na ang share investments, no, they cannot qualify as cash equivalents kasi wala nga po silang maturity date. So, hindi sila considered as cash equivalent. So, X natin yan. Sumunod yung treasury bills. Ang sabi dito, pinurchase mo yan November 1, 2024 and magmamature ng January 31. So, ilan yan? Bilangin mo. Bakit kinonsider natin yan as cash equivalent? No? Remember, to be considered as cash equivalent, yung purchase or acquisition date, it should be 3 months or less before maturity. Paano mo po bibilangin yung 3 months before maturity? Pinurchase siya ng November. Magmamature ng January 31. From November, December, January, ilang days yan? 90 days yan. Or ilang buwan? 3 months. So, sakto. At least 3 months. Oh? 3 months or less. No? Or not at least 3 months pala. No? 3 months or less before maturity. No? 3 buwan pababa. O 3 buwan, nakatatlong buwan naman siya. So, cash equivalent yan. Otherwise, no, kung hindi niya na-meet yung 3-month rule, nag-extend siya doon, 4 months, 5 months, 'di ba? It should be considered as investments. And short term yan or long term depending dun sa period ng maturity. Kung 6 months, short term. Kung 13 months, long term. Basta lumagpas yan ng 12 months, long term yan. Okay? So, yung money market, sir. Money market placement or commercial papers, bakit po cash equivalent yan? No? Meron tayong silent rule or silent treatment sa pag-solve ng cash equivalent. Kapag yung problem silent siya regarding sa money market or commercial paper, ang assumption natin, cash and cash equivalent yan. Or cash equivalent lang pala, rather. No? Cash equivalent siya. Okay? Ano pa yung time deposit din? Kapag silent, cash equivalent yan. Yung treasury bills din. Di ba? Cash equivalent yan. Time deposit, treasury bills, money market. Pero may exception. Yung treasury bonds, tapos treasury notes. Kapag silent yung problem, di ba, yung treasury bonds, investment yan. Depending sa period of maturity kung current or non-current. Ganon din yung treasury notes. Kapag silent lang ha, ibig sabihin ng silent, walang ibang sinabi sa problem. Sinabi lang dun money market. Wala nang ibang kwento. O assumption mo dyan, cash equivalent yan. Okay? Ano pa? 160-day treasury bill. Oh, treasury bill siya pero 160 days, lumagpas sa 90 days. Eh dapat 90 days or less eh, no? Or 3 months or less. So, investment na yan, na short-term investment. Hindi na yan cash equivalent. No? And time deposit, no? Bakit po? Bakit hindi yan considered as cash equivalent? Tignan nyo po yung date of acquisition or purchase. From October to January 31. So, ilang buwan yan? October, November, December, January. So, 4 na buwan. Lumagpas ulit siya sa 3 months. 'Di ba? So, investment na yan. Current investment na. Okay? So, yan. Naalala nyo yan. No? Balikan lang natin yung kanina. So kung ito-total natin lahat yan, no? May cash on hand tayo, yung may cash tayo kanina, tapos yung cash equivalent natin. No? Yung 3 months or less, tapos yung money market. No? So ang total, 7,000 or 7.5 million. Kaya ang sagot natin dun sa problem kanina, letter A. Diba? Kayang-kaya? Kayang-kaya. No? Another topic naman, no, is yung cash fund for current operations. Sir, paano po yan? If the cash fund is set aside for use in current operations or for the payment of current obligation, it is a current asset. It is included as part of cash and cash equivalents. Okay? Kasi po, yung mga kumpanya, syempre, nagtatabi sila ng pera. Pero yung tinatabi nilang pera, fund yun for current operations. For example, may mga examples po. Like yung petty cash fund, di ba? Payroll fund para magpasweldo, current operations yun. Tax fund, pambayad ng tax. Di ba? Quarterly, annually, mga interest fund, dividend fund, travel fund. Kumbaga ba, sasantabi nila yan, pero current operations lang. Babayaran lang din nila within the year. Because payment yan ng current obligation. Hence, current asset siya. And part yan ng cash and cash equivalents. No? Kung may current operations, may non-current operations naman. No? Siyempre, kung yung cash fund is set aside for non-current purpose or yung payment of non-current obligations, it is shown as long-term investment. Hindi na yan cash. Low, or hindi na siya current asset na part na considered as cash and cash equivalents, kundi as investment na yan. Kasi long-term na siya. No? O, examples niyan, sinking fund, no? Contingent fund, insurance fund. And lastly, fund for acquisition or construction of PPE or property, plant, and equipment. No? Ang pinaka common dito na nasa-solve ko sa problem, itong first and last. No? Sinking fund tsaka fund for acquisition or construction of PPE. Pero, hihimayin natin yung sinking fund. May trick po or may tip tayong sasabihin sa sinking. No? Basta, ang assumption, kapag silent, yung problem, yung sinking fund, isinet aside yan for non-current purpose. Kaya long-term investment ang sinking fund kapag silent. No? Paano sir? Bakit yung sinabing silent? Pwede kasi magkaroon ng classification ng cash fund. Na ang sinasabi dito, na yung classification ng cash fund as current or non-current, it should parallel the classification of the related liability. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Ang magandang example dyan, yung sinking fund. Paano yung sinking fund mo, sinet aside mo to pay bond payable? Nag-set aside ka ng pera, sinking fund, na pambayad mo yun sa bond payable. No? Pero yung bond payable na yun, magmamature na siya next year or within 1 year after the end of the reporting period. No? Hence, yung sinking fund na yun, current asset din. Kasi yung related liability niya na gagamitin to pay yung liability na yun, mag-expired na rin or magmamature na din within 1 year after the end of reporting period. Hence, parallel sila. Kung current asset yung related liability mo, dapat yung classification ng cash fund, current asset din. O, di ba? Yun ang parallel. In a parallel universe, di ba? Parallel sila. Kung ano yung classification ng liability, yun din yung classification ng asset, ng fund. No, na ang best example nga natin is yung sinking fund. Na lagi mong mamimit yan sa mga problems. No? However, however, yung cash fund na sinet aside mo for acquisition of non-current asset, di ba? Nag-set aside ka ng cash or fund to acquire a non-current asset, non-current yan, regardless of the year of disbursement. For example, sa 2024 mo ni-recognize yan as cash fund for the acquisition of non-current asset. Kailan mo i-acquire yung non-current asset? Sa 2025. No, isang taon na lang, malapit na. Pero, non-current asset pa rin yan. 'Di ba? Sabi nga ng standard, 'di ba? Dito, regardless of the year of disbursement, kahit sa susunod taon pa yan, kahit isang isang taon lang, non-current pa rin yan. No, yun lang yung special case for cash fund set aside for acquisition of a non-current asset. No? Best example talaga is mag-solve tayo ng problem. No? An entity provided the following data on December 31, 2021. My cash in bank, current, payroll, and value-added tax fund. My foreign bank account unrestricted, no? And in equivalent pesos. My cash in bank din na restricted for plant addition. Ito yung acquisition ng non-current asset. Fund set aside to acquire non-current asset and expected to be disbursed in 2022. 2021 ka, year-end. No? So, isang taon na lang. Diba? Anong treatment mo dyan? Okay, alamin natin mamaya. Cash in sinking fund set aside for bond payable that is due December 31, 2022. Mag-due na siya next year. So, isang taon na lang. Then, yung parallel. Diba? So, tignan natin. No? Yung tanong muna, what total amount should be reported as cash under current assets? Okay? So, cash in bank, syempre, cash yan. For current operations yan, kaya cash yan. O, ganun din yung payroll account, yung value-added tax fund yung mga yan. Na for current operations, kaya cash sila. Kasama din po yung foreign bank doon. Bakit? Kasi unrestricted yan. Diba? Available for use. Foreign nga siya, pero dapat naka-equivalent pesos yan. Sir, paano kung hindi naka-equivalent pesos? No? Itra-translate mo po into peso. Okay? Pero syempre, dapat kasama yan kasi unrestricted siya. And dapat equivalent peso. O binigay naman na sa problem, so pinadali niya na tayo. Okay? Sir, ano naman po itong restricted for plant addition? Bakit hindi siya kasama? No? Di ba nga, sabi natin kanina, yung cash fund set aside for the acquisition of a non-current asset should be classified as non-current. Non-current yan regardless of the year of disbursement. Magdi-disburse na siya ng 2022. Wala ka pong paki dyan. No? So long as restricted siya, set aside for non-current purposes, no? Non-current investment na yan. Regardless of the year of disbursement. Okay? So hindi siya cash and cash equivalent or hindi siya considered as cash. No? Cash in sinking fund set aside for bond payable, no? Ito nga lang is due on December 31, 2022. Mag-due na siya next year. Hence, parallel, di ba? Sabi nga natin, yung classification ng cash fund as current or non-current should parallel the classification of the related liability. Yung bond payable mo mag-due na next year, kaya current asset na yan yung bond payable. No? Hence, yung sinking fund po din, current asset na. Okay? So, considered na siya as cash. Alright? So, kung ito total natin yan, ito yung total niya. Total cash, 8.5 billion. Check nga natin. 4 million plus 1 plus 600 plus 1 4 plus 1 5. Yun, 8.5 billion. So, ang sagot, no, letter apple. Alright? So, tapos na tayo sa first two problems. Siyempre, may mga special items sa cash na I think ito yung mas nagpapahirap sa cash and cash equivalent. Pero relax lang. No? Hihimayin natin yan and tuturuan kita. First, bank overdraft. Sir, ano po ang bank overdraft? No? It occurs when a company or individual withdraws more money from its bank account than the available balance, resulting in a negative balance. Okay, so Napakadaling intindihin. Sumobra yung winidraw mo sa bank account mo. Kaya nagka-negative balance ka. No? Sumobra. Ang balance mo na lang 10K. Ang winidraw mo 50K. So may 40K ka na na sobra. Kaya magkakaroon ng negative balance or credit balance sa bank account mo. Oh, diyan magkakaroon ng ng treatment. So ano bang treatment natin sa bank overdraft? Current liability yan. Siyempre, sumobra ka eh. Utang yun. Utang mo yun sa bangko kasi sobra yung winidraw mo. And generally, general rule, hindi mo yan pwedeng i-offset against other bank accounts with positive balances. Liability mo yan. Yun ang general rule ha. Yun ang general rule or yun yung treatment talaga sa bank overdraft. Current liability yan and hindi siya pwedeng i-offset. Pero syempre, lahat ng general rule, may mga exceptions. Now, dito tayo maglalaro sa exception. May mga exception sa general rule. First, what if different bank? Ba? Sir, paano kung may overdraft ako sa BPI? No, diyan ka nagka-overdraft tapos mayroon kang bank account sa BDO. Pwede ko bang i-offset yung negative balance ko na bank overdraft sa BDO ko? Pwede, 'di ba? Ang sabi dito, pwede kasi nga may exception to the rule. It may be netted against another bank if yung overdraft na yon immaterial, repayable on demand, or integral part of cash management. No? Immaterial dapat. Pag immaterial yan, pwede mong inet kahit different bank. Kapag repayable on demand din. Kapag integral part ng cash management, pwede mong inet. Okay? And take note, sir, pag na-net mo na yan, di ba, it is no longer a current liability. No? Kasi nga, ang first treatment mo sa kanya sa bank overdraft, liability mo na. Eh kung na-offset mo na-net mo na sa another bank, hindi na siya liability. Kasi na-net mo na-absorb na nung kabilang bangko. And kapag ininet mo yan, syempre mababawasan yung kabilang bangko. Okay? So, tandaan na, pwede yan, no? So long as immaterial, repayable on demand, and integral part of cash management. Sir, paano kung same bank? Pwede mo siyang inet. For example, may BPI account number 1 ka. Tapos may BPI account number 2 ka. Madami kang pera sa bangko, kaya madami kang account. Sa account number 1, nagka-negative balance ka or may bank overdraft ka. 'Di ba? Pwede mo siyang inet, no? Pwede mong inet yung overdraft na 'yan so long as yung account na 'yon positive yung balance niya. May laman, 'di ba? May balance. Pero hindi mo 'yan pwedeng i-offset against restricted account. Okay, so pwede yan sa BPI number 2 so long as may balance yung BPI number 2, kaya niyang i-accommodate kung magkano man yung overdraft na yan, and yung BPI number 2 mo, hindi siya restricted. Unrestricted dapat siya. Okay? So, best approach na naman is mag-problem tayo. An entity provided the following data on December 31, 2024. Wow. May mga China Bank current account daw siya. May BDO savings account pero overdraft. May BPI current account number 1, 5 million. And may BPI current account number 2, overdraft. Ang sabi dun sa overdraft daw sa BDO account, considered daw yan as integral part of cash management of the entity. No? Ang tanong, what total amount should be reported as cash in bank? Okay? So simulan natin. No? Sabi natin, pag different bank, pwede mong offset yung overdraft na yan, di ba, against another bank if immaterial, repayable on demand, or integral part ng cash management. Ang sabi sa problem, yung overdraft daw sa BDO account, integral part of cash management of the entity. Hence, it can be netted. Di ba? And yung same bank naman, yung sa BPI current number 2 overdraft. Papansin mo, may same bank siya, BPI. Di ba? BPI siya, 'di ba? BPI to BPI. It can be netted against the account with positive balance but cannot be offset against restricted account so long as same bank sila. So Katulad naman na bangko, yung overdraft number 2 mo, si BPI, so pwede mo naman siyang i-offset. Kasi may positive balance naman yung BPI number 1. And hindi naman sinabi sa problem na restricted siya. Okay? So, can be netted yung savings account and it can be netted also yung BPI account number 2, overdraft. So, kung titignan mo yan, ang adjusted cash in bank, i-add mo lang or ibawas mo lang yung dalawang overdraft dun sa 3 million and 5 million, then you will get 7.1. So, ang sagot, no? Letter dog ang sagot. Okay, di ba? Kayang-kaya? Kayang-kaya. Di ba? Oh, pangalawa naman, compensating balance. So lagi natin 'tong namimit pag may bank account tayo, 'di ba? Ang compensating balance po, yun yung portion ng borrower's deposits that must remain in the bank and cannot be withdrawn freely. Yun yung minimum parang parang minimum required balance mo sa bank account mo. And dapat mong ma-maintain yun. Pero syempre, no? Hindi mo yun pwedeng ma-withdraw freely. Kaya in effect, yung compensating balance, income yan sa bank kasi hindi mo nga pwedeng ma-withdraw freely. Siyempre sa bangko na yun, sila na yung mag-circulate doon. Okay? Pwede nilang ipautang yun and mag-earn sila ng interest doon. Kaya ang compensating balance, income yan sa bangko. Pero syempre sa depositor, no? In effect, parang may pagka-loss ka din doon. Pero anyway, no? Anong treatment mo dyan? Kapag yung compensating balance, hindi naman siya legally restricted as to withdrawal, pwede mong i-withdraw. Di ba? Ay, napakaswerte mo naman kung pwede mong i-withdraw yung compensating balance. Eh di cash. Di ba? Part yan ng cash mo. Hindi siya legally restricted as to withdrawal. Eh di cash. I-withdraw mo na. Paano sir kung legally restricted as to withdrawal? Oh, classified yan as investment. Short term or long term, depending nga sa maturity or yung sa tagal. And hindi yan part ng cash. So, syempre, investment mo pa rin yan. Syempre, nasa bangko, kaya mag-earn pa rin yun ng interest. Pero short term or long term, depending sa kung hanggang kailan mo siya hahawakan. No? Paano sir kung silent? Kung silent yan, assume not legally restricted as to withdrawal. Hence, part of cash. Okay, so tingnan natin sa another problem. An entity had the following cash balances on December 31, 2025. Oh, may cash in bank, may cash in sinking fund, may petty cash fund, may money market, may savings deposit. Yung cash in bank daw, may 500,000 compensating balance against short-term borrowing arrangement on December 31, 2025. Yung compensating balance na yun, legally restricted. Nako, legally restricted siya as to withdrawal. Nako, anong gagawin dyan, sir? Huh? What amount should be reported as cash and cash equivalents on December 31, 2025? No? So, simulan muna natin to sa cash in sinking fund. I-defer muna natin yung cash in bank na may compensating balance. Yung cash in fund, sinking fund, sir, napaka-silent. Walang ibang sinabi. Remember, ang cash in sinking fund po ay cash fund set aside for non-current operations. Hence, 'di ba? Kung silent 'yan, yung cash in sinking fund 'yan used for non-current operations. Hence, hindi siya part ng cash and cash equivalent or no, investment 'yan, long-term investment, no? And wala ka rin kasing magiging parallel since walang binigay na related liability sa sinking fund. Okay, wala kang mapagbabasehan, no? Since walang related liability yung sinking fund. Kaya ang assumption, use yan for non-current operations, hence non-current investment. Okay? So hindi yan part ng cash. Okay? Petty cash fund, syempre, cash na cash. Money market, placement, or commercial papers, di ba po pag silent yan? Yung money market, cash equivalent yan. O, ilagay mo. And lastly, yung savings deposit, di ba? Cash in bank mo yan, kaya nasa cash mo yan. Okay? So, balikan natin yung cash in bank kanina. Ang sabi kasi may compensating balance na legally restricted. And yung compensating balance na yun, include, included yan dito sa cash in bank mo na 5 million. Eh, 500K na legally restricted, anong gagawin mo dyan? Diba? Kapag legally restricted, classified yan as short or long-term investment. And hindi dapat siya maging part ng cash. Okay? So, dapat ibawas mo. Diba? Dapat ibawas mo yung 500K sa 5 million kasi dinag sinama mo hindi dapat legally restricted yan as to withdrawal, hindi mo mawi-withdraw. Hence, hindi siya part ng cash. Paano sir kung walang ibang sinabi sa compensating balance? Walang sinabi kung legally or not legally restricted. If silent, no? Paano sir kung hindi sinabi to? No, hindi sinabi yan. Ang assumption mo kapag silent, not legally restricted. Hence, yung compensating balance is part ng cash. Hence, yung 500K kapag not legally restricted, hindi mo ibabawas. Nandyan lang yan. Wala kang gagalaw. Okay? Pero sa kasamaang palad, legally restricted siya kaya may gagalawin ka. May babawas kang 500K. No? So titingnan natin, ayan lang yun. No? So kung total mo, ang cash and cash equivalent mo, 6,850,000. So ang sagot, letter boy. Okay? Para ka lang nagja-jogging dito sa... Oh, para ka lang nagja-jogging, di ba? Kayang-kaya. Kayang-kaya, basic na basic, di ba? No, susunod yung undelivered or unreleased check na special item din sa cash. Sir, ano yung undelivered or unreleased check? Diba? It refers to a check that has been prepared, recorded, and possibly even entered the accounting books but has not yet been physically given to the payee. Sir, sino yung payee? No, meron kasing dalawa. Payor tapos si payee. Si payor, syempre siya yung nagbayad. Siya yung may utang. 'Di ba? Si payee yung recipient. Siya yung tatanggap ng pera. So si payor, siya yung magbabayad. Si payee yung tatanggap. No? So parang debtor, creditor. Okay? So ang sinasabi lang dito, undelivered pa. Si payor magbabayad sana kay payee. Pero yung cheque na yon hindi niya pa na-deliver. It has not yet been physically given to the payee. Sir, anong gagawin doon? Anong treatment mo doon kapag ganun? No? Ang sabi, wala pang legal obligation si payor. Since hindi pa nga natatanggap ni payer yung check, di ba? Yung company, yung entity is not yet legally obligated to pay. No, take note, ang point of view natin dito, payor tayo. Ang point of view mo dyan, payor ka. Ikaw yung company, ikaw yung nagbabayad. No? Since wala ka pang ang legal obligation to pay, no? Cash mo pa yun. 'Di ba? Anong treatment mo diyan? Cash mo pa yun. 'Di ba? Hindi mo pa yun disbursement. It should not be considered as cash disbursement kasi hindi pa nga nakakarating kay payee. Hindi mo pa na-deliver. Okay? It remains part of the company's cash balance until the check is released or delivered. So anong adjusting entry? Cash accounts payable. May additional cash ka pero syempre may liability ka pa rin. Hindi naman pwedeng no? Undelivered lang siya. Pero may babayaran ka pa rin kay pay. Okay? Oh. Another one is yung post-dated creditor check delivered. Na-deliver mo nga, pero post-dated naman. Yun ang kwento dito. Diba? A post-dated creditor check is a check issued by a business, yung debtor, to a creditor or supplier, lender, or other party to whom money is owed that bears a future date. Even though the check is delivered, it cannot be encashed. Hindi mo po pwedeng ma-encash until the date written on. Okay? Di ba? Na-deliver mo nga. Pero, for example, na-deliver mo ng December 29, 2025. Pero yung pwede nang ma-encash yung cheque ng January 31, 2026, next year pa. O, na-deliver mo nga on time. Pero, hindi pa ma-encash ni creditor yun. Kasi nga, dated siya ng January 31, 2026. So, as of December 31, 2025, pera mo pa yun. O, yun lang yung kwento mo. Pera mo pa siya. O, anong accounting treatment? Again, hindi pa siya disbursement. Diba? Because the check is not yet payable. The amount remains part of the company's cash balance until the date on the check. O adjusting entry, katulad nung undelivered check or unreleased check, cash mo pa yan, pero may liability ka. Okay? So, sana na-gets nyo na, no? So, mag-problem tayo. Or, may another pa pala dito. The reason is that there is no payment until the check can be presented to the bank for encashment or deposit. Siyempre, wala pang payment eh. Di ba? Until nga na ma-encash. Until ma-present yung cheque sa bangko for encashment or deposit. So, tignan natin sa problem number 5. An entity provided the following information on December 31, 2024. O may cash on hand, may Metro Bank, may Manila Bank, current account, may overdraft, may BDO account set aside for bond payable. No? Due 2026, may savings account for equipment acquisition, may treasury bonds, may treasury bills. So kumbaga ba, sa lahat, parang comprehensive na tong problem na to, nandito na lahat. Pero syempre, may additional na sinabi. Included among the checks drawn by the entity against the Metrobank current account and recorded on December 31, 2024 are check recorded and dated December 25, but delivered to payee on January 31, 2025, amounting to 200,000. Additionally, may check recorded noong December 27, 2024, dated January 30, 2025, and delivered to pay on December 31, 2024, amounting to 350,000. Anong tanong? At ano daw yung total amount that should be reported as cash and cash equivalents on December 31, 2024? Hindi po 2021 yan, 2024. I'm sorry for that typo. Okay? O, simulan natin. Siyempre, cash on hand, cash na cash. Cash na cash. Kanina pa po natin kinakash yung cash on. O, Metrobank current account, cash in bank yan. Cash pa rin. O, Manila Bank current account, yes. Yung overdraft, net mo ba? Yes. So long as same bank naman sila. Manila Bank to Manila Bank, pwede mo yang i-offset or i-net so long as may positive balance siya and hindi naman restricted yung current account mo sa Manila Bank for number 1. Okay? Yan yung BDO account set aside for bond payable, no? Again, di ba? Yung classification of a cash fund as current or non-current should parallel the classification of the related liability. Di ba? Account po ito. Di ba? BDO account set aside for bond payable. Di ba? So cash sinking fund siya, no? In nature, sinking fund pa rin siya. Yun nga lang, due yung liability na yun, yung payable na yun ng 2026. 2024 yan. Di ba? So may 2 taon pa. Oh, kaya ang classification ng bond payable as of December 31, 2024 ay non-current liability. Hence, yung classification din ng sinking fund ng asset, ng related asset, current or non-current asset. Or in this case, non-current investment siya. Alright? Oh. And yung may Asia Bank din daw, savings account for equipment acquisition. Yes, sir, 2025, kaya current yan. Again, di ba? Yung cash fund set aside for the acquisition of a non-current asset, classified yan as non-current regardless of the year of disbursement. Pinaalala ko lang ito. Di ba? Siyempre, sana maalala mo. Di ba? MMK. MMK yarn. Di ba? Pero, oh, non-current yan regardless nga dun sa year of disbursement. Kahit 2025 pa yan, non-current pa. And sir, may treasury bonds. Sir, bakit hindi yan cash and cash equivalent? Investment yan. Kapag silent, yung treasury bonds considered yan as investment. Current or non-current depending sa maturity. No? No, kapag silent ha yung treasury bonds. No, silent, walang ibang sinabi. Walang sinabi kung 3 months or less, 'di ba? 3 months or less before the date of maturity. Ang assumption, investment na. Okay? Na magdedepende na kung current or non-current siya. Okay? Treasury bills, kasama din po as cash and cash equivalent. Since silent yan, di naman po sinabi kung 90 days, 3 months or less from the date of maturity. Yung assumption, i-assume mo na lang na cash and cash equivalent siya. Alright? So, yan. Kumpleto na. Ay, hindi pa pala. Sorry. May nasama pa pala dun sa Metrobank current account natin. No, meron daw na check recorded and dated December 25, 2024. Pero na-deliver mo lang kay PayE, 'di ba? Remember si entity dito, siya yung nag-draw ng check. Siya yung payor. Checks drawn by the entity, ibig sabihin siya yung magbabayad. Siya yung nagsulat. No, parang siya yung nag-issue ng check. Kaya siya yung magbabayad. Siya yung payor si entity. And magbabayad siya kay PayE. Yung check, dated December 25. Pero na-deliver lang kay PayE ng January 31. Hence, pwede ba nating sabihin wala pang disbursement as of December 31, 2024? Hindi pa bayad yan. Kasi undelivered pa siya. Di ba? Unreleased check or undelivered check. Hence, part of cash. Oh, okay, yun nagamit na natin. Actually, yung example, yung na-discuss natin sa previous slides. Ito naman, yung check recorded December 27, 2024, dated January 30, 2025. No? Pero na-deliver mo na kay PayE December 31, 2024. Na-deliver mo nga on time. Pero post-dated naman. Hindi niya pwedeng ma-encash hanggat hindi dumadating yung January 30, 2025. Yan yung post-dated creditor check. Diba? Remember, ikaw si payor dyan. Si payee or ibang tawag dyan, si creditor. Hence, post-dated creditor check, no? Na part pa rin ng cash. Okay, na-deliver mo nga, pero post-dated naman. Hindi niya pa pwedeng i-encash, kaya pera mo pa yun. Okay, gets? No? So, kung titignan natin, nilisin ko lang to. Titignan natin, ayan, kumpleto na. Di ba? May overdraft, may treasury bills, may cash on hand, tapos yung kanina, yung undelivered check, tapos post-dated creditor check na na-deliver mo, na part pa rin ng cash. Kaya ang total cash and cash equivalent, 9,650,000. Sagot, no? Letter C. No. Okay, last special item sa cash natin, yung not sufficient fund check. Sir, anong kwento nito? Alright. Not sufficient fund check or NSF check but is a check that has been issued by a drawer, the person who writes the check, but cannot be honored by the bank because the drawer's account does not have enough money to cover the amount written on the check. Di ba? For example, magbabayad ako. Si Mr. X, ako si Mr. Bon. Ay, Mr. Bon. Ako yung mag-issue, for example, ako yung drawer. Magbabayad ako sa creditor ko. Kaya mag-i-issue na lang ako ng check, no? Nag-issue ako ng check, no? Nung nag-issue ako ng check sa bangko, syempre napunta yan sa bangko, tapos si creditor ko, kukunin niya na sa bangko yung check. Unfortunately, wala pala akong enough enough money dun sa bank account ko. Kaya hindi mabigyan ni bangko si creditor ko, hindi ko mabayaran. 'Di ba? Ang tawag doon, 'di ba? Not sufficient fund. Hindi sapat yung pera ko sa bangko ko para makabayad sa mga suppliers ko, sa mga creditors ko. Ang ibang tawag doon, no? Bounce check or dishonored check. Tumalbog yung checking, no? Tumalbog yung checking. Or other term pa dyan is yung DAUD or drawn against uncleared deposits. Pwede rin yung DAIF, drawn against insufficient funds. Pero pinaka-common, NSF check or not sufficient fund. Okay? Anong legal effect niyan? The payment obligation is not settled. Di ba? The drawer still owes the payee the amount. Remember, di ba, sa point of view ng mga problems na nasosolve ko, tayo yung payee dito. Diba sa mga undelivered check, sa mga post-dated creditor check, tayo yung payer doon. Pero sa point of view nito, sa NSF check, tayo yung payee. Diba? Parang tayo yung dapat bayaran. Pero hindi tayo nabayaran kasi na-dishonor yung check. Kulang yung pambayad nung nagbabayad sa atin. Oh? So anong treatment mo dyan? Sa point of view ni payee or tayo yung recipient ng check, 'di ba? May receivable pa rin tayo. 'di ba? Hindi pa rin considered as cash yung check, eh. 'Di ba? If previously recorded as cash, it must be reversed. Restored yan as receivable mo pa rin. May receivable ka pa rin, 'di ba? 'Di ba? And yung cheque na yun, hindi mo pa cash. Hindi mo pa pwedeng ma-encash kasi nga walang pondo yung bangko nung nagbayad sa'yo. O anong adjusting entry dyan? Accounts receivable and cash. May accounts receivable ka, di ba? And wala kang cash. No? Kapag, for example, kapag na-record mo yan as cash, previously recorded as cash, pwede dapat i-revert back mo sa pagiging receivable. Siyempre, receivable pa rin yan, dapat mo pa rin sinilin. No? So, for the drawer naman, for example, ako yung issuer nung check, 'di ba? Syempre, liability ko pa rin 'yan. 'Di ba? Yung liability ko outstanding pa rin. No reduction in cash, 'di ba? Since the bank did not release funds. Wala silang ma-release na funds, syempre walang cash. 'Di ba? So, pero mag-focus ka talaga kay payee or recipient ng check. 'Di ba? Wala tayong dapat na cash diyan and dapat may receivable tayo. No, yan yung adjusting entry for not sufficient fund check. Okay? So last problem, no? Korean company reported the checkbook balance on December 31, 2024 at 6 million. In addition, the company held the following items in the safe on that day. So may checkbook balance daw siya, nasa bangko yan, checkbook, di ba? Mga passbook, di ba? So may balance daw siyang 6 million. And syempre may mga kasama doon. May check payable kay Corinne dated January 2, 2025 in payment of a sale not included daw dun sa checkbook balance. Additionally, may NSF check. Himayin na lang natin maya-maya. Diba? May check doon daw kay Corinne's account. Diba? Pero undelivered check siya. Okay? Tapos may consent currencies, may employee IOU, may postage stamps. So ang tanong, ano daw po yung amount to be reported as cash on December 31, 2024? So, simulan natin. Yung check payable kay Corinne in payment of a sale. So, may receivable si Corinne dito. Siyempre, may payable kay Corinne eh. Check payable to Corinne. Hence, may receivable si Corinne. Pero dated January 2, 2025. Diba? In payment nga nung sale. Baka nagbenta si Corinne kaya may matatanggap si Corinne. Hence, may payable to Corinne. No? Not included siya sa December 31, 20 checkbook balance. Ano pong tawag dyan? Post-dated customer check. Yung kanina, post-dated creditor check. Ngayon naman, post-dated customer check. Bakit customer check ngayon? Kasi nagbenta tayo. Or yes, may nagbenta tayo kaya may customer tayo. Hence, kaya nga babayaran tayo. Babayaran si Corinne nung customer niya. Pero nga lang post-dated. Future date mo pa siya, pwedeng ma-encash. No? Hence, it cannot be deposited or in cash until that date arrives. Kaya, hindi mo pa cash yan. Kaya tama yung ginawa ni Corinne na hindi niya pa sinama sa checkbook balance niya as of December 31, 2024. No, so tama na yung ginawa niya, hindi niya in-include. 'Di ba? Properly not included in cash. Diba? Because it is post-dated. Oh, so yun lang. Oh. Sumunod dyan, no? Check payable to the entity. Again, yung wording sa payable to the entity. Hence, si entity dito, yung payee. Payee si entity dyan. Kasi payable to the entity, to Corinne Company. Hence, may payor. Diba? And si company, payee. Kasi babayaran sa kanya. Deposited on December 15 and included yun sa checkbook balance nung December 31. Pero ni-return ng bangko on December 30 kasi nga NSF, not sufficient fund. Pero in-include mo na sa checkbook balance mo as of December 31. Pero tumalbog, 'di ba? Sabi ng bangko, walang enough funds yung nag-issue nito. Oh, anong treatment mo diyan? 'Di ba? Dapat, 'di ba? Receivable mo pa rin and dapat wala kang cash. 'Di ba? Dapat hindi yan kasama sa checkbook balance mo as of December 31, 2024. Sir, paano naman po yung next sentence? Ang sabi yung check daw was redeposited. on January 2 and cleared on January 5. No? Yung nag-issue nung check, nire-deposit niya. And na-clear naman na ng bangko nung January 5, 2025. Ang kaso, na-clear lang yan ng bangko, 'di ba? Cleared lang siya, hindi na tumalbog nung 2025 nga lang. Ang tanong dito, ano yung cash and cash equivalent mo as of December 31, 2024? No? So hindi na umabot sa 2024, no? Na-clear lang ng bangko nung 2025. Naging cash mo lang nung 2025. Okay? Kasi cleared na siya. So, as of December 31, 2024, hindi mo pa siya cash. Sadly. Okay? Deducted to cash yan kasi in-include mo sa checkbook balance mo. No? Eh, hindi muna pala dapat. O, ano pa? Check drawn on Corinne's account, dated and recorded, but not mailed. Diba? Check drawn. Diba? Nagbabayad ka sana ng accounts payable mo kasi ikaw yung nag-issue. Ikaw yung payer dito. No? Pero na-mail mo lang nung January 15, 2025. Hence, cash mo pa yun. It is as if December 31, 2024, hindi mo pa bayad. Kaya may cash ka pa, may liability ka pa. Okay? Ang tawag dyan, di ba? Undelivered check. Okay? Coins and currencies, syempre, napaka-obvious. Cash yan. Postage stamps. Sir, ano po yung postage stamps? Di ba? They are not considered cash. Pero yung mga yan, considered yan as prepaid expense. No? And lastly, employee IOU. From the word itself, no? IOU. Kumbaga ba, sinasabi dyan na IOU talaga. No? It is not a cash. It is essentially a promise to pay cash in the future. No, na para bang sinabi ni Corinne Company na, uy, babayaran kita. Pero, in the future. Hindi yun cash. In effect, parang naging liability nga siya eh. Kasi it is essentially a promise to pay cash in the future. No? So kung in total mo yan lahat, no? Total mo yan lahat. Ilang ang cash and cash equivalent mo, 'di ba? Ang adjusted cash balance mo 5.6 million. Okay, ibawas mo yung NSF, yung nabanggit ko kanina, idagdag mo yung undelivered company check, idagdag mo yung coins and currencies, then you will get 5.6 million. Okay? So, ang sagot, no? Letter C. Wow! So, dun po nagtatapos, no, yung cash and cash equivalents natin. No, sana marami kayong natutunan and if you want more, then you should subscribe for more accounting lessons. No? Actually, kayang-kaya ang cash and cash equivalents eh. Di ba? Basta, mamaster mo lang. Mamaster mo lang yung mga bank overdraft, yung mga cash fund, di ba? Yung compensating balance, yung undelivered check, yung NSF check, di ba? Makakabisado mo yan. Actually, no? Kayang-kaya mo yan, no? So, hanggang dito na lang and thank you sa pagpanonood and sa suporta ninyo. No? So, bye-bye and kita-kits sa another accounting tutorial.